And a happy Monday. I know it's a happy Monday, Red Sox Nation. They finish 10 straight wins. The stretch we talked about, that 16-game stretch before the All-Star break, they win 13 of the 16 with another win over the Rays. They sweep the Rays. What a weekend. I was just chomping at the bit to get back at this. Maybe in the future we do some weekend shows because I wanted to talk about it with all of you guys and gals. Mike Antonellis with you with Red Sox Now, presented by Fan Arch here on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Going up and up. Subscribers close to 800. We had almost 4,000 views on our show on Friday. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. So share it, like, comment, and follow me on social media at The Radio Mike everywhere. We're doing some Twitch pregame shows. I don't know if we'll do anything for the Derby tonight or the All-Star game. We can talk about the draft, but we're going to have no games this week. It's going to let us talk about the draft, the Derby, the All-Star game, so we can have some fun shows even though there is no Red Sox baseball. But appreciate the follow and subscribing to the channel. So let's get to the state of the Sox. They finished winning 12 of 13. They win 10 in a row. Their longest win streak since 2018 when they did that right at the beginning of July. 24-11 in their last 35 games. The second best record in the big leagues behind Toronto. I mean, just remarkable stuff. You know, there was a time before, I don't think any of us thought the Red Sox had a chance at the division, right? I mean, realistically, they were so far out. Now with the wild card, they are in that second wild card spot. They're only one game behind the Yankees. Seattle has won 3 in a row. Seattle is the third spot, and Tampa Bay is now a game and a half behind Seattle. Texas, the Angels, Twins, Kansas City, and Cleveland are all within 4.5 and 3 games. But the Red Sox, with that 10-game win streak, I mean, they certainly do some damage to separate themselves. They're only 3 games out of the division. So as much as we're obsessing with the wild card, they have a legitimate shot at the division. And what a division it is. People are saying it's weak. No. With all the teams being competitive and 4 teams potentially making the playoffs, that means the division is good with them all over 500. And again, I've talked about this before. There are not many teams that are over 500 in the big leagues. I mean, unbelievable game yesterday. And, you know, your final 2 starters. I mean, during this stretch, by the way, you had 2 complete games, 9 innings. But Brian Bayo has really turned a corner, and the guys talked about it yesterday. The Red Sox have changed their pitching plan. Bayo is way more aggressive. Have you noticed less pitching away from contact, less sliders, throwing that bowling ball sinker and that changeup, attacking hitters with the fastball? Crochet's strategy hasn't changed, but the Red Sox have changed, and Bayo and Giolito have looked head and shoulders better, and those 2 guys have certainly solidified themselves. You know, I think Crochet's the clear one. I mean, 2 and 3 to me is interchangeable. You want Bayo to be that guy. I think he's got one upside, right? But to me, it doesn't matter. You could put Bayo, Giolito, whatever. I'd like to put Bayo there because he's been there, and I like the stuff a little bit better. So let's do that. Crochet, Bayo, and Giolito. They were outstanding. The growth of Cedar Rafaela, what more can we say? What more can we say about him? Now, I talked about this, and I guess I'm going to pound my chest a little bit. Go back. I clipped this. A lot of you didn't watch all these episodes. My St. Patty's Day episode, I went on this rant about my guy, Rafaela, this year. A lot of people did not have him making the roster, which is insane to me. Out of spring training, off season, during the season. He's the odd man out. Why? After 1 full year, which he had a great full year for his first, and a Hall of Fame center fielder defensively right now. That play he made yesterday, I don't think anyone makes in the big leagues. Dove through that throw, unbelievable play. But it's a lesson that these guys are allowed to get better. And I said this, my point is, I don't want my general manager, after that year, that's a good first year for a rookie, to say, okay, you're done. That's not a good message for the rest of the young players. That's a lot of pressure. And I give the Red Sox credit. They don't listen to fans or media. And they were going to stick with those two, Rafaela and Abreu. They knew they had a lot of growing to do, and they have. And I think he has done so much. And he has turned in himself into one of the better players on the team. And in the league right now with center fielders, he's putting himself way up there. But the maturation process, of course, of him. But you need your guys to be the guys you gave money to. Story, he's now batting in the middle of the lineup. He has become the guy we wanted. Roman Anthony, hitting third, amazing. And the fact that Yoshida and Bregman can just come off the injured list and play like this, to me, is unbelievable and not easy and should not be understated. What they're doing is ridiculous. Bregman didn't even rehab. I know he hit off that Trajex machine. We could talk about that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. That machine's pretty cool. I went to Portland Friday, by the way. I was there for 15 years as their broadcaster. And I saw that Trajex machine in their clubhouse. That's what we call a tease. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But the fact that Bregman, Yoshida rehabbed a little bit, and okay, you guys are hitting 2 and 3 and 4 in the lineup. And I love the flexibility. And I love if the Red Sox just tell everyone, you know what, we're good. We're going to hold on. We're going to do this. We're going to just rotate everyone in. You're trying to win a championship. If that's the best, if you don't get blown away in trades, I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, they did, right? Let's get to some bullpen notes. I made some numbers here today. And listen, I'm not a big super numbers guy. I like some, traditional stats. I do like some new age stats. But I don't think, for instance, like ERA for relievers means nothing to me. It is a dumb statistic because it cannot match up. I like scoreless appearances. Now, you can counter my scoreless appearances and say, well, it doesn't show inherited runs allowed. I know all that stuff. But inherited runners allowed sometimes is not fair to the pitcher. He comes in with bases loaded, nobody out. You're going to give up runs. I like scoreless appearances by a reliever. Chapman, 36 of 41. And in those 5 games, he allowed 1 run. That's pretty damn dominant, I would say. Wouldn't you? Wilson, Justin Wilson. Another great pickup, by the way. You look at the pickups by Craig Breslow. It's going to take some time where it's his team. And he is funneling people out, like he got rid of Devers. And he's brought in, the people he's brought in this year. Another guy, 30 of 37 appearances without allowing a run. That's really good. Craig Weissert, as much as people don't like him, 36 of 45 games scoreless. And Garrett Whitlock, 26 of 35 scoreless. That is numbers I like for relievers because ERA is based on 9 innings, and a reliever can give up 5 runs in 1 start and never really recover. I've seen a guy give up 5 runs in a relief outing and go scoreless in the next 9, and his ERA is like 3.6, and then people look at that and go, he's no good. Well, he's scoreless in 9 of 10. So I'll take the scoreless. Justin Wilson is someone we've not talked about. Pretty good arm, right? That's a pretty good back end, and if they can add to that, and Hicks and Alcala, if they develop, and if Houck becomes that, not too shabby. But no panic again when Chapman is in there, and what he did this week, and what Crochet. And Crochet throws that complete game, and he's like, yeah, okay. No biggie, right? All right, things have changed for me a bit. Well, not really, but more with Dobbins going down. So, yeah, Richard Fitz slots as your 5. But I still think if right now it's Buehler and Fitz. To me, I'm uncomfortable with that, trying to win a division. Now, I could be wrong, right? Buehler could fool us all and figure out, he's going to work on some mechanics. And if he can fix things, that's a pretty good arm, right? And track record. And Richard Fitz hasn't looked the same since he got hurt. That's going to take time. But if you can improve in that department, I think we all know that. I think you all know that. But the Dobbins injury, the reason, it stinks for him. And I know his numbers weren't great, but he beat the Yankees twice, and he pitched with a lot of stones. And he's your 4th or 5th starter. I like that. I liked, and again, his first year, and we could see a growth. Now, we could have gone the other way, but I liked how he pitched, and I thought he fit great as that fifth starter. We don't know about Houck. Alex Cora is not saying much on that. So, your depth pieces in AAA are Cooper Criswell and Kyle Harrison. So, we're looking at this team to the next level. To the next level, you definitely need to add a starting pitcher. Now, the problem with this now, the Dobbins injury changes your leverage, and teams don't play nice at the deadline. They really don't. So I'm not sure, I'm comfortable giving up a big league player for a 4 or 5. You're not getting Joe Ryan at the deadline. I really don't think. It's not happening. The Twins are just doing this. Teams put out feelers. They make deals in the offseason too, where it will require less. But you definitely need to add something. And I think in the end, it's probably going to be someone where like, But you need to create, really, if you think about this, if anything, they need something because they don't have a lot of options. And say Buehler and Fitz do not work out or one gets hurt and you're not comfortable with Houck or Harrison. Now, all that could change. Those guys could be the answer. But I think the Red Sox will have a tough time trying to get even a third starter with the Dobbins injury. It's not going to play nice. And I also got something about Josh Naylor. People are asking me about Josh Naylor. Yeah, guy's hitting near 300. Again, you forget the team he's with. He's with the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's Mike Hazen. Mike Hazen's not playing nice with you guys. Does that really happen? Yes. Yes. Mike Hazen is not handing you a guy near 300. I get he's an expiring contract. They'll just give him a qualifying offer and take a draft pick. Or find someone that's more desperate. There are teams very desperate for hitting. The Red Sox can sit back, and I like what they're doing. No, we'll play all these guys. And I think Yoshida taking ground balls, I don't even know if that's going to happen. I do want to point one thing out, by the way, and I wrote this down. That play made by Toro on the squeeze play, if you saw it, with Crochet pitching. That's why you can't put anybody at first base. Does Yoshida make that play? No. Does Christian Campbell? No. Does Romy Gonzalez? I don't know. Maybe. That's why. And I get, a lot of this guy, put Roman Anthony there. That instinct, because he's a corner infielder, he's very athletic. That was one of the best plays, that decision to do that in his reaction time. It's why you can't. It's not just catching and receiving the ball, but that was an unbelievable play by Toro, and it's why you can't constantly play guys out of position. But I love what the Red Sox are doing with this. And Lou Merlone talked about it on Saturday, that now teams are seeing this and saying, well, someone's got to be available. And it's just going to, again, it's going to drive the driving price up, and you should. And in the end, like I just said earlier, I'm okay with them just saying, you know what, we'll stick with this and do a trade maybe in the offseason. Because you're never going to get fair value at times if you're desperate. And San Diego looks desperate. And other teams will be desperate too. The Yankees with their bullpen issues and maybe another hitter. So, the two guys that, because Arizona, we talked about being the key with trades. And they have really fallen off. They're two big guys. They're 5.5 out of a wild card. But again, don't always go by. Sometimes a team that's even 2.5 out, if they don't feel going forward they're good enough, and they see a trade that's going to be better for them and even can help that year. I mean, Detroit made trades last year, made the playoffs, and they were selling. But I think Arizona could be in a point. The two guys, of course, are Naylor and Eugenio Suarez, which I think if the Yankees get him, they're going to pay a hefty price. All right, let's get to the comments from Friday's show that was outstanding. At Richard Shepard -R8V, I know Red Sox at least a good starter to complement Crochet. Yep. I mean, I think to complement Crochet, Bayo, and Giolito, let's not leave them out. I mean, they've been huge. Do you think they need a bomber that can finish a game with homers? No. I mean, a bomber would be like an Eugenio Suarez. No. I still think pitching is priority. If you can get a guy like that without, going crazy, yeah. But I think Josh Naylor, who's would be a tremendous option at first base, would be too costly. And I still don't think that Mike Hazen's going to deal with you. I really don't. At Sean Gallo, 74-30. If they're up 7 or 8 by the deadline, I'd really like to invest in this team. However, they still kick the ball, run into stupid outs, runners in scoring position, small ball situational. I think every team, every level now, I see the and I'm not agreeing with it because you know how I feel about it. The running into outs, yes. The fielding, that's everywhere now. You saw with the Rays, they made some really bad plays. But yeah, Alex Cora, pitching, defense, running the bases, the 3 most important things on the club. Runners in scoring positions overrated to me if you're scoring runs. And also, here's another thing about runners in scoring position that I don't like. This is why you can't lay, everything on numbers. When you move a runner over with runners in scoring position, so first and second, nobody out, you hit a ground ball to second, you move the runners over, you get an over with runners in scoring position. And then even if that next guy grounds out and scores a run, that's another over. You can have productive overs with runners in scoring position. Hey, Wong did it yesterday. He moved the runner to third, and that obstruction play scored a run. He strikes out there, you don't score that run. So I don't really go crazy over runners in scoring position unless you're not scoring runs. If you're consistently 0 for 16, I think it's got to be very dramatic for me to move the needle. At Pasher 21K, no trade talk in Capitals about Duran, Chapman, or Bregman. Yeah, I mean, Chapman or Bregman, that would be insane to me. And, with Duran, there's a lot out there. If you do it, I honestly think it's better to do it in the offseason if that's your plan. And I get them wanting Anthony to play. And right now, I like what they're doing. I'm okay with this. You can give guys rest. It's okay. And it's working, right? And why not have the depth? And like I've said, those guys are allowed to come in the game later. All right, great Monday. We will talk. I got some notes here. We'll go over the draft on Tuesday, the Derby. I have some thoughts on the Futures game. And, of course, your terrific comments on Red Sox Now. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Antonellis. Have a great day, everyone.